The best conditioning tool, the most efficient conditioning tool that nobody uses, what is it?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
It's the rower.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
You know what I'm talking about. If you're going to a Globo gym, there's 15 treadmills, there's 20 ellipticals, there's steppers, there's other stuff, there's bikes. People are using those, and then you just got one rower over there, maybe two, right? It's like the lonely kid at the junior high dance. Not that I have any experience with that. All right, so let's talk about why the rower is an effective conditioning tool. Number two, when you might want to kind of work your conditioning into, in kind of amongst your strength training. And then number three, what are some good conditioning options? What are actually some workouts with the rower? If all you care about is getting some sample workouts, just skip to about midway through towards the end of this video. You can find the workouts there. So number one, why is the rower? Why is the why is the ergometer? Why is it such an effective conditioning tool? It's an effective conditioning tool because it does not have a loaded eccentric phase, all right? Think about when you're lowering yourself during a squat. If you're doing 100 air squats, that's gonna tend to cause some soreness. All right, gravity is the thing that's causing you to go down. That's the eccentric part of the movement, and because gravity is the thing that's causing you to go down, you don't pull yourself down, gravity pulls you down. That's called a loaded eccentric movement. But in the rower, when you're coming back to the catch position, you're pulling yourself back. Nothing is actually pushing you back into that position. You have to bring yourself back to that. And it is loaded eccentric motion that typically causes most soreness. So the rower doesn't have that. A bike doesn't have that either, so a bike is another good option. And in fact, most of the workouts that we're going to talk about in this video can be used pretty equivalently for a bike as well. But we're not talking about a bike, we're talking about a rower. So a rower is a real good option for not getting real sore so that you can still productively do your strength training the next day or 2 days later, whatever, you get the idea. Number two, when are you gonna work in your conditioning workouts? When are you gonna work in your rowing options here? All right, so I'm gonna give you an example, kind of a sample setup for the week, but you can apply these concepts to however your week is set up. Let's say you've got a Monday, Wednesday, Friday training week. Maybe you're at the point where you've worked through your linear progression. Maybe you've got like a heavy day, a light day, and a medium day. Maybe your heavy, maybe they're not the same for every lift. Maybe your heavy squat is on Monday, you've got a light squat on Wednesday, but maybe your heavy pull day is on Friday. So let's talk about a couple conditioning options that we could do this way. I'm going to assume that you're going to try to condition 2 days a week. All right, one good option is to condition on Saturdays. When you're conditioning on Saturdays, you're done with your strength training for the week. You've still got the rest of Saturday and all of Sunday to rest before you strength train again. So that's a great conditioning option right there. The question is, how do you get in your kind of your first conditioning day of the week? If your second day is on Saturday, how do you get in your first day? Well, one option is to simply put it at the end of a workout. That's always a great option. It involves less driving to the gym. You're already there, unless of course you're training at home, you're already there anyway. But if you're training somewhere else, you're already at the gym. So Monday, you've done your heavy squat, you've done whatever else the workout has, and you just tack on the rowing. Usually my conditioning workouts are somewhere in the 15 to 25 minute range. You just tack that on to the end of your session, all right? So you could do it on Monday, you could do it on Wednesday, you could even do it on Friday, although if you're gonna do another conditioning on Saturday, that might not be the best option. So that's one option. The downside to that option is that it is gonna take some more time. You're gonna be at the gym, maybe you're already training for an hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes doing your strength training, and then you're tacking on, a conditioning workout on top of that kind of makes for a long day at the gym. So what's another good option? Well, if you've got your light squat, if Wednesday in general, again, we're assuming this is just an example. If Wednesday in general is a little bit of a lighter day, you've got a light squat that day, and let's say you don't have a heavy pull that day either, then doing your conditioning workout on Tuesday is another pretty good option because it's not gonna derail the strength training that you've got going on Wednesday. So again, we're trying to do this kind of with two things in mind. Number one, we're trying not to derail our strength training. Number two, we're trying to make it kind of appropriate from a time standpoint. So if I can do it without making extra trips to the gym, that's nice, but if I have to make an extra trip, it's not that big of a deal. All right, now for some rowing options. So this is the part that you really came for. I'm gonna give you 3 conditioning options. You can change these over time, you can improve on them, but conditioning option number 1 is 5 or 7 or 9 or 11 rounds of 1 minute on, 1 minute off. In other words, you're gonna row as fast as you can for 1 minute. With all of these, start conservatively your first time out. You can always improve on these, but in general, you're gonna row as far and as fast as you can for 1 minute, and then you're gonna rest for 1 minute. You can time these minutes. You can use a stopwatch. You can use the timer that's available on the rower, or you can use a programmable timer and actually set it up for 1 minute on, 1 minute off, that type of thing. All right, so how do you increase the stress of this workout? How do you improve on this over time? You can add rounds, right? So you can go from 5 rounds one workout to 7 rounds, the next workout to 9 rounds. You get the idea. And then you can also increase the stress by trying to improve the distance that you're rowing. In other words, improve the speed that you're rowing at. In general, you can record this. I would recommend it one of 2 ways. You can record all of the distances that you row and try to improve that on time. Or if you want to take the more simple approach, just record your worst distance. Record your lowest distance rowed and try to improve on that over time. So over time, you're kind of raising up the floor of the whole thing. Workout number 2, 6 or 8 or 10 rounds of row 30 seconds, rest for 2 minutes. So why 6 or 8 or 10? Well, because I chose the number of rounds and I chose them fairly randomly, but I'm going to cap it at about 10 because, like I said, usually my conditioning workouts top out somewhere around 25 minutes just for practical purposes. And if you figure that if you do the math on this, if you're rowing for 30 seconds and you're resting for 2 minutes, each round is 2.5 minutes. So if you do 10 rounds, you're already at that 25-minute cap that I'm usually setting for myself, all right? So the idea is very similar to the first one, but the time of the intervals is different, right? You're rowing for a shorter amount of time, you're resting for a longer amount of time, so you should be able to go harder, you should be able to go faster. So row as fast as you can, row as far as you can for 30 seconds, then rest 2 minutes. Same idea, record how much distance you travel, how much distance you row for each round, or like I said before, just record the worst round. Ways that you can improve on this, you can increase the number of rounds, you can go from 6 to 8 to 10, or you can try to improve on the distance rowed. Now, a great way to combine these is try to hit a minimum distance, try to hit kind of a minimum worst round basically, and then take that from 6 rounds one workout to 8 rounds the next workout, and then 10 rounds the following workout. Then ratchet it back down to 6 rounds and try to improve your speed, and now hold that new speed for 6 rounds and then 8 rounds and then 10 rounds, and you can see how this would continue ad nauseum. All right, workout 3, as it has been pointed out, none of these are very exciting. This is true. This last one, really like the least exciting. This is a time trial of sorts. So you're just gonna set a timer for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, and simply row as far as you can. In other words, row as fast as you can, record the distance covered. Again, ease into these. So maybe if it's your first time doing conditioning, period, you've been relatively sedentary, maybe you just start off with 5 minutes. Yes, it's on the low end, but the important part is getting this thing started. Then you can go to 10 minutes next time. Then you can go to 15 minutes. Then you can go to 20. Then again, you can try to hold that pace, ratchet it back down to maybe 10 or 15 minutes and try to improve on that pace a little bit and carry it up over time. Or you can keep a different record. You know, in your training log, you can keep a record of how much time do I cover on my 10-minute time trials? How much distance do I cover? How much distance do I cover on my 15-minute time trials, my 20-minute time trials, right? Again, all of these workouts, because these workouts are time-based and not distance-based, you can apply these to the bike pretty much equivalently. So, as always, we hope this helps you get stronger, or in this case, better conditioned, and live better.